The Millers are running for their lives. The Inferno is right behind them, lighting the trees like torches. Their clothes are torn, their faces are black with ash. Every single second counts when you need to outrun an Inferno. In this episode, we'll show you 7 essential survival skills to save your life when you must abandon everything and outrun a wildfire on foot. There is no one coming. The roads are blocked, the sky has turned black, and their car is a melted metal mess. They're running uphill now, burning their last reserves of strength. But survival isn't about strength alone. It's about prep, skill, and grit. Let's follow their choices closely and see how avoiding deadly mistakes can mean the difference between life and ashes. Let's go back 30 minutes, when the air was clear and Tom still had time to choose a route. They were happily setting up camp, far from any paved road. Tom had checked his map, planning their departure for the morning, but that's the first deadly mistake. Skill check number 1. Never rely on a single exit point. The biggest mistake people make in remote areas is having only one way out. The survival tactic. Always identify a secondary natural barrier, creek bed, wide meadow, rocky terrain. The fire will always seek out and eliminate the easiest route first. If Tom had marked the creek bed then, he wouldn't have wasted precious seconds later. A low, powerful sound closes in on them, the roar of the forest fire. They scrambled from their tents, running for the car, but their only road was blocked. A massive, flaming tree had already fallen. They are trapped. In a frantic second, they yanked a wool blanket, some valuables, water, and a first aid kit from the tent, abandoning everything else. They started running uphill toward the next ridge, desperate for a view. But in that panic, they immediately faced the next deadly mistake. Skill check number 2. The fire isn't the killer, the heat is. Wildfires are 90% radiant heat and 10% flame. The heat causes fatal burns to your lungs and skin from dozens of feet away. The survival tactic: you need an immediate radiant heat barrier. Tom remembered the fire's true nature. Synthetic fabric melts, wool reflects. He threw the wool blanket over his kids, shouting, "Stay low!" The tactic: cover yourself, crouch close to the soil. The ground is 20 degrees cooler. Even a few seconds behind that barrier can mean survival. They were still trapped, running uphill, foolishly burning their energy. This led directly to the third deadly mistake. Skill check number 3. Never run uphill in a wildfire. The fire climbs faster than any human can move because of the chimney effect. The hotter air creates its own draft, pulling the oxygen and flames upward faster than you can sprint. This simple physics error has killed countless people trying to escape. The correct tactic: move across the slope or sideways, aiming for lower fuel terrain like rock, water, or already burned zones. Tom remembers the creek bed now, his secondary route, and changes course immediately. The wind shifts, and the roar grows deeper, like a freight train wrapped in thunder. This decision, and this fire break, is the one that saved their lives. Running across the smoky terrain, Sarah felt the heavy camera bag drag at her with every step. She immediately realized the weight was a fatal handicap. This commitment to non-essentials was their next deadly mistake. Skill check number 4. Drop the weight. Speed is survival. When you have seconds, weight becomes danger. Anything that slows you down gets left behind. Priorities shift in a heartbeat. It's people first, and if it doesn't move, it stays. The biggest survival mistake is overcommitting to non-essential gear when speed is your only shield. The oxygen debt from running was already making every gasp painful. Even small exertions became fatal when the air itself tried to kill them. This leads directly to the 5th deadly mistake. Skill check number 5. Airway, water, and calm. Priorities shift to airway and hydration. The smoke is dry heat. It pulls moisture from your body with every breath. Tom tore off a sleeve, soaked it, and pressed it over Sarah's mouth. A wet cloth won't stop smoke, but it can cool the air you breathe and help protect your lungs just long enough. Take small sips of water, not gulps, and if anyone coughs, get them lower and quieter. Calm is a survival skill that conserves precious oxygen. By now, they could barely see 10 feet ahead. The sound of fire was everywhere, echoing through the valley, and they were running blind. Tom finally stopped, heart pounding, to scan the chaos. But continuing the run in blind panic would have been the sixth deadly mistake. Skill check number 6, reading the fire when you can't see it. If you're disoriented, pause and orient. 5 seconds of clarity is better than 50 steps in the wrong direction. A deep growing roar means the front is getting closer. Use sound, wind, and slope as your compass. Never run blind. Tom felt the wind push against his face. He pointed left. Smoke's blowing this way. The fire's behind it. We go across. The heat thickened until every breath felt like inhaling a furnace. Sarah poured the last of their water across the blanket, draping it over the kids. Her throat burned. The little one cried for air. They reached the dry riverbed, but the opposite side was still forest, still burning. Tom looked around wildly. "Nowhere left," he said. Sarah met his eyes. "Then we stay." They were on the edge of their last deadly mistake, the one only a final skill could save them from. Skill check number 7. When you can't outrun it, outlast it. If escape becomes impossible, your only chance is to let the fire pass over you. But where you make your stand decides everything. You must reach fuel-free ground, bare dirt, rock, sand, or a patch the fire has already burned. And you need a safety zone at least 30 feet across, a wide bubble of bare ground where nothing can burn. In a frenzy, Tom scraped away the last dry brush, exposing raw soil beneath them. They lay face down, feet pointed toward the flames, the strongest part of the body taking the heat. He sealed the wool blanket around them, pushing the edges into the dirt to trap a pocket of breathable air. The roar will feel endless, the heat unbearable, but the fire front moves fast. 60 seconds of stillness can be the difference between survival and tragedy. Smoke curled around them, but they were alive. They hadn't outrun the Inferno, they had outthought it. The ones who walked away from the 1988 Yellowstone fires and the devastating 2018 campfire survived using the exact same principles: understanding terrain, controlling heat, and maintaining calm movement. It wasn't luck. It wasn't the gear they carried. It was skill. The real enemy in a firestorm isn't the flame. It's the sudden, paralyzing absence of a plan. Subscribe to Moose Ride, Prep Skills and Grit, because when you have 5 minutes to live, knowledge becomes the only thing that burns slower than time.